how is it that 99% of guys never actually end up getting jacked or building a good physique, especially in today's age where we have more information and data about working out, hypertrophy, the best exercises, the best workout routines coming out on a weekly basis, yet no one's getting in shape. If you go to any gym around the country in the US, Canada, Australia, England, no one actually has that good of a physique. Why is that? Most guys are average, if not below average, yet we have more information available than ever before. Why is that? Is it because they don't train hard enough? Is it because they're lazy? No, it's neither of those things actually. And I'm going to tell you from the last 13 years, this one lesson has been overarching throughout not only my lifting, but out throughout my life that makes tasks that you want to get successful at or any objective 10 times easier. And it actually changed my perception of how I see the world. So why are the majority of guys just not getting in shape? Well, we need to identify the problem. And the truth is the problem is about consistency and length of time actually committing to things. Now, anything you want to get successful at life, it doesn't matter if it's building a good physique, a business, a relationship, it's going to take probably years of doing the same thing over and over again and refining your skill at those inputs. And then eventually you're going to realize the success or the output. Now, what so many people doing nowadays because of all of this information, all of these different tips, these different creators, these different influencers trying to sell you basically on their ideology, is you're constantly switching your ideology all the time and you're never actually sticking to one thing long enough to actually see results. So every time you hop on a new program, you're going, okay, this is going to be the thing that's actually going to change it. And this is called shiny object syndrome, basically where you start doing one thing, you say, oh, someone told me that thing's going to be better, so I'm going to start doing that. And this is what happens in business all the time. People have the foundation of their business. Okay, how do we get more leads? Okay, we got to do cold outreach. So they're doing all these phone calls, but then they get told, oh, these guys over there, they're doing email marketing. So then you start trying to learn email marketing. But by the time you've learned email marketing or learned that new avenue, you've lost out on so much time where you could have just been refining your cold outreach. And this is the exact same for bodybuilding. You could have just gotten really, really good at what works, but instead you kept switching, and then when that didn't work because you didn't see results in the first couple months, then you switched again. And the best way I can describe this is basically you are over analyzing and taking up too much mental bandwidth for something that is very simple, and you're not actually able to take action fast enough or to see opportunities arising because you're hyper analyzing over these super small details. And this kind of plays into the midwits meme, if you guys are aware of it, which is basically an IQ bell curve. And if you've never seen it, I'm going to explain. I'll put a picture up as well. But you have super low IQ people on the far left, which is a super small percentage of the population. And then you have the super high IQ people, which is also a super small portion of the population on the right. And they're both saying the exact same thing. Let's say, for example, for lifting, they're saying lift weights, eat whole foods, sleep. And then in the middle, you have the midwits. This is the average, the normies. This is where 99% of guys end up falling. And they're overcomplicating everything. They're saying, oh, you got to do the upper-lower split. Oh, you got to do 2 reps in reserve, and you got to deload every 4 weeks. And what ends up happening is you actually end up optimizing yourself into extinction, because the truth is things are so simple to their core, and we already know what works, and trying to find that new shiny object or this new hack in the system, you end up just not actually ever getting good at what actually makes you see progress. And the way that you're going to stay dedicated and actually continue doing something for a long time is when you see results, when you get the carrot, right? You get the carrot, now you're more motivated because you want another carrot, whatever, right? So you need to be getting that reward, and the only way you get the reward is by actually sticking to something long enough and getting good enough to see the benefits from it. So I was in the exact same position, so I know exactly how this feels. I used to be that guy as well, because I was almost like a lab rat. I wanted to try every single different type of training, programming. I did power building, I did powerlifting, I did calisthenics. I did everything because I was curious. I wanted to know what worked. I wanted to see what was the best thing for me. But the truth is, it really came down to very simple, is just do the opposite of what everyone else is doing. Because you have to think about it like this. When we're trying to build an aesthetic physique, we're trying to build a top 1% of physiques. So you have a better physique than 99% of people. And look at what 99% of people are doing. They're program hopping. They're not sticking to a diet. They're eating junk food on the weekends. They're drinking. And they're constantly switching and listening to influencers and never actually creating their own philosophy or critically thinking. And that is literally the only thing you need to do if you want to build a good physique. There's no special diet. There's no special routine. There's no special exercises. It literally doesn't even matter. It's all about finding whatever you can stick to for the longest amount of time and really whatever scratches your itch. And that is literally the key to everything. It doesn't matter if it's business, it doesn't matter if it's your physique, it doesn't matter if it's a relationship. Whatever keeps you interested and keeps you showing up and actually trying to refine and master the basics is what is going to keep you coming back and actually improving. And that is literally the biggest lesson I've learned from working out, is literally just get good at the basics, because all the minute anal things you think about on a daily basis and you're overcomplicating this super simple process, if you just spent that time, first of all, spent that mental energy focusing on things you enjoy, clearing your head, but also spent the time in there just focusing on getting better, you will see 10 times better results rather than just chasing the new shiny object, because it ends up not actually helping you in the long run. All right, I started having a coughing attack. I had to pause there. But basically the point is, and from this lesson, is you need to do the exact opposite of what all the people who aren't in the position you want to be in are doing, right? You need to look at the people that are actually where you want to be and ask them what they do. And if you ask any gym bro at the gym with a great physique, he's going to say, just lift heavy, bro, and do it for a long time and eat clean. That is literally what they're going to tell you, because that is the secret. The secret is right in front of you, right? So you don't need new exercises. You don't need more distractions. You don't need a new exercise routine. All you need is less mental friction and more action and execution. And that way, yeah, you might mess up a couple more times, but at least you're actually going to learn how to make decisions for yourself and actually figure out what works for you personally, because that's how you're going to basically build your own philosophy, your own methodology, and that's how you're going to make progress for the long term. And that's what really will set you apart and actually help you achieve whatever your idea of success is with your physique. But realistically, it's going to take 5 to 10 years, and it goes the same for business and other areas of life.